It is Monday, November 10th, 2025. In the building, the Level Up College Football Podcast. Your boy Big G, sitting back with my co-host Sarah C and B Dirt. Sarah C, don't forget to take that mute off because I'm gonna hit you with the big fine. So call it out right off the bat. Great to see you guys. Great to be in the building. The Level Up College Football Podcast exclusively on YouTube every Monday, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, sitting around talking about college football, man. Great to see you guys here. And ladies and gentlemen, it is week 12 in college football. It's snow outside. Ohio got hit with a whole bunch of snow, but it's cold and toasty. But I got my winter clothes on, ready to roll, and ready to get down with my co-hosts, B Dirt and Sarah C. Sarah C, what's cracking lacking with you? What's going on, girl?
Oh, nothing much. I'm still in my work clothes because I was running a little late today. But now I'm thinking, I'm wearing blue, and game day and the big game this week is in Pitt. So there we go. I'll go with that.
Yeah, some diabolical hater tried to tell me that ain't the game of the week. We're going to talk about it here a little bit. He laughed talking about it ain't no game of the week. Well, we're going to find out here in a second. B-Dirt, what's cracking lacking with you, bro? Good to see you in the building, man.
Man, I went with the Myrtle Beach hoodie, hoping to put some good vibes and get some decent weather back in this Western PA. I'm not ready for the snow yet, Nicole. No, sir.
How much snow y'all get, bro?
A dusting.
A dusting. But just seeing it made me panic. You know what I mean?
Shoot, like I said, when I'm in Ohio, we got 3 or 4 inches, and we about to get about another half inch tonight. It's snow in the building. It's the winter. But guess what? We ain't got but a handful of games left in this season. It's time to get it. It's time to get it jumping. It's time to have a great remaining of the season. And I think we're going to see a shakeup across the board. Y'all listen, I'm going to say what's cracking to the live chat. What's going on running through the jungle? My boy Big Pun, Tim Lyons, Afton Girl, what's cracking lacking? Steeler Lee, man. Anybody else jumping out with us, we'll give it a few seconds. We normally get anywhere between 45 and 70 people that watch us live on the show. We appreciate all you guys' support. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Subscribe to the KnoItAllz channel, because every week you can get us live on YouTube, man. And we appreciate all the support that we've always gotten on the KnoItAllz podcast channel. And for y'all that's looking for the super chats, they will be back shortly. What it is, the KnoItAllz podcast finally settled in, made a business move, and we done did some articles of configuration, and we're officially a company now. So look for some new things going forward. We're possibly going to build a website. We got some other stuff that's going to be coming out. We're going to be able to get memberships, not only for specialized content. You'll see it for 99 cents, $1.99, $4.99, and you're going to see some special emojis moving forward on the KnoItAllz podcast channel. And that'll be exclusively for our members only. So you're going to be guaranteed to get your comment up live on the screen once you become a member, but that's coming out slowly but surely. And we appreciate all you guys for the support, because the KnoItAllz is doing what they do. And B Dirt, I'd be not right unless I say tonight, on the Running Through the Jungle podcast channel, they can catch the Level Up. They can catch the Level Up show, bro. So we appreciate all you guys rocking with us. Dirt, you had something you want to say, bro?
Yeah, this is the first time I put it over there. I know Running Through the Jungle, NFL content, but I wanted to get this over there, give everybody a sneak peek that watches our channel and listens to our channel. That way they can find out where to find you guys. Go over to the KnoItAllz and like and subscribe and get some. You guys have great content over there with college football, NFL football, basketball, the whole nine, a little bit of everything over there.
Man, we appreciate it, man. All right, so y'all, we got to get to it. This is a college football show, so we got to speak facts and truth going on with college football. To me, it was a shakeup this week in the AP Top 25. You had some teams that lost that wasn't supposed to lose. You had some teams that almost lost that should have lost. And I think come tomorrow, because it's T-minus 24 hours and counting, that the second inaugural college football poll for 2025 will be coming out, right? Do you guys look for a shakeup in the top 10? And do you see that the committee might say, well, this team deserves to be here, this team deserves to be here, based on what happened on Saturday? So, Sarah, I want to start with you. Look at Big Punishment talking about SEC bias is what I'm going to call that, punishment bias. But, Sarah, I'm going to start with you. Do you think there's going to be a shakeup? What do you think is going to happen with the new college football poll that's going to come out tomorrow night around between 7 and 8?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a minor shakeup. I don't think there's going to be a big shakeup. I think we're going to see a couple different teams get re-ranked a little bit. I think that BYU is definitely going to drop a decent amount. I think Texas is going to somehow end up in that top 12 this week. And then I think Notre Dame's going to sit around the same area. Oregon, I don't know. That's the one that I'm kind of questioning about whether or not they're still going to stay up there. I know that they stayed pretty high on the AP, but I mean, that was a pretty close win right at the end, but they won the game. And sometimes you need to have that kind of tough win. So I think just the ACC is the one that's the biggest mess right now. I have no idea who the heck the strongest team is in that conference. So I think there'll be one ACC team in there. I still think there will only be 3 Big Ten. I don't know if there will be 2 Big 12 teams in there. But I mean, I know that, with the playoffs versus just the regular rankings, the group of 5 team isn't probably going to be in that top. So I think just the ACC and possibly the Big 12 might put a little shake up. And then the top 3 might kind of switch a little bit. Yeah.
I'm feeling that. B-Dirt, I think there's a lack of respect that's going along for a certain conference and too much respect for another conference. Gavin Anthony said Texas should be like 15 and Oklahoma like 18. However, I think come tomorrow that Texas is going to be in the top 10. Whether or not they're in the 12 for the college football poll, I don't know. But I think tomorrow Texas is going to be in the top 10. So do you look for a shakeup concerning how the rankings are going to lay out to get us prepared for these last 2-3 weeks of college football season, bro?
Man, I got to be honest with you. I haven't even really got into dissecting it too much because all these teams play each other pretty much, especially the SEC teams. Like they're starting to, we'll get into the game previews, but we got one of the matchups this week. I feel like it'll all kind of pan out. I agree with Sarah, though. The ACC doesn't deserve to have more than one team in, period. They're just not quite get right. Now, I also think there's quite a big separation. If you want to say a top 4, kind of a Mount Rushmore, I'll give you 4. I don't even know if it's I feel like I'm even giving a little credit to Indiana. I think they're good, but I don't think they had a great schedule. I think Oregon is overhyped. I don't think they have the playmakers that they've had in the past. But I think the cream of the crop right now is Ohio State, Texas A&M, and those 2 teams I think have separated themselves. And then in that next grouping, I go Indiana, Alabama. So those are the 4 teams I really think are going to be making noise when the playoffs get here.
B-Dirt, I can see that, man, because I can see why people think that Oregon is overrated. I can also see why people might think that Georgia is overrated. I could definitely see that. But then when you start – go ahead. I'm sorry.
You start looking at athletes, right? Georgia got a lot of great athletes. The difference between Georgia and Alabama to me is quarterback play. Simpson's a better quarterback, and I think that gives him the nod.
Yeah. I mean, I get that too. And I think that Simpson might have worked his way into the top 32 picks of this year's coming NFL draft. But B-Dirt, I saw him on against LSU on Saturday. And I was like, this is a first-round NFL draft pick? No way. No way.
If you it reminded, he missed a couple shots, deep shots that were pretty bad. I thought he played well enough to win. But it reminded me, honest to God, it reminded me of the Michigan-Purdue game in the way that Underwood missed wide open deep balls. Where they could have been touchdowns easy, and Simpson missed a couple of those. Now, I've seen him hit them a lot this year. So
yeah. Hey, Afton, great question. Just saw the Giants fire D-Ball. Does that mean he gets one of those college jobs? I doubt it. I think that D-Ball is going to end up as an offensive coordinator somewhere in the NFL. But it wouldn't shock me if he ended up in like Vodtech or Penn State. That wouldn't shock me at all because he's got the makings of a college coach. So that wouldn't shock me at all. What are y'all thoughts about concerning that he ends up in college versus in the NFL? Sarah, I'll start with you.
I mean, I said it a couple weeks ago. I think we're definitely going to see some form of an NFL coach in college. I don't know if Daboll's really ready for that, if he wants to make that big change right now. He is a really great offensive coordinator. There's definitely going to be some openings in the NFL. If he gets the right team and the right quarterback, he might take that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these colleges are offering it, or at least want to interview him. But I don't see him making that step down just yet if he can get a really good offensive coordinating job in the NFL.
Facts. B-Dirt, how about you, bro? What you thinking, man? Is he college or is he pro? And what type of coach is he?
To me, I think the best thing he's done in his career has been offensive coordinator, right? What the development that he had in Buffalo was with Josh Allen was great. So I think that's probably where he belongs and where he does best. And I would be willing to say, hey, Brian, do you like Southern Ohio?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like we might have a regime change coming in Cincinnati. Would you like to work with Joe Burrow?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm thinking. I think he's got NFL written all over him, B-Dirt. But I believe that if the right money and right scenario happens in the collegiate ranks, you might see this guy say, "Hey, man, for $45 or $50 million, adios muchachos, NFL. Here I come, college." So I can see it happening, man. I can see that happening.
He did a lot of development, like we said, with Josh Allen, where he changed some of his mechanics and how he reads the thing. So it's not that he wouldn't be a decent fit for a college program like that.
Yeah, facts. Absolutely. All right. Got a secondary question, right? Secondary question is this. What team can make the biggest jump in the next 3 weeks? Out of all the top 25 teams, what team can make the biggest jump and put themselves literally in the middle of the college football conversation for the playoff? Right? Because I think there's some teams that's got a lot of road in front of them. And if they win a game here, win a game there, they could be talking about they're going to be in the college football playoff. And I just want to get you guys' thoughts about what team do you honestly feel over the next 3 weeks, because that's all we got left in the regular season, can make the biggest jump to put themselves in position to make the college football playoff. See, I'm going to start with you. Which team you thinking?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I'm really looking at this right now. I mean, I think that there's going to be some big jumps just in that top 12. Like if Texas can pull off a really good win against Georgia, I see them really bouncing up there and maybe getting a home game out of this. But I'm really Pitt, if they were to somehow pull off an upset, that could definitely be something that could jump up this week. I would say Big 12, ACC, I just don't see either of those teams. And maybe the only other team there's 2 Big 10 teams that possibly could pull off some big jumps. I just don't know. I have to look and see what their schedules are. I don't think they have that strong of a schedule other than Michigan playing Ohio State. And I think USC is pretty much had their hardest. Well, they have Iowa this weekend, and then Oregon, but I don't really know how much that's really going to count towards. So those would be the only teams that I could really think of. But I think Texas is the most interesting one right now to see really where the heck they end up, especially if they end up winning out at the rest of this the next 3 weeks.
Facts, Sarah. I'm buying it. B-Dirt, who do you think can make the biggest jump, man, over the next 3 weeks?
I mean, Texas winning out, they got a tough schedule. They've had way too close to games and overtime with Mississippi State, and like I winning out, I don't know. To me, it's a game like a team that doesn't really have major games left on its schedule, but just by winning and watching the rest of the SEC take each other out, I think Vandy's on the outside looking in and could sneak in there with 2 losses still. They played Tennessee last game of the year, and that's going to be, I think they should be able to handle Kentucky if they win that game against Tennessee. I think they sneak in.
Yeah, big pun, man. That's facts. Pitt has the strictest schedule and lost themselves into the playoffs. I ain't mad at that for sure. SMU
Talk to me Saturday night.
Yeah, after the game's over with. SMU, I don't know. Okay, we'll talk about Akron in a minute. Pitt's remaining schedule is stout. That's facts. Texas Tech, I think Texas Tech's done played their way into the process. I think with that big win against BYU. But listen, people say I'm a homer. I don't care if they say I'm a homer or not. I'm going to spit some facts to you. You know who can do it? Michigan. I don't care what nobody say. Michigan will have one loss in the Big Ten if they win out. Overall, 2 losses, and probably with a win against Ohio State, will play Indiana in the Big Ten championship game. Michigan can mess around and jump in the playoff with a win, with winning out with the rest of the schedule. B-Dirt, they call me a hater, but I'm going to kick facts. It's the truth of the matter. Michigan wins out with a win against Ohio State, 1 loss in the Big Ten Conference, plays Indiana in Indianapolis, Indiana. Michigan can make the college football playoff, Dirt. Your thoughts, bro?
I thought this year, after I saw Sand play, I thought this is probably going to be the year Ohio State gets back in the W column against Michigan. Now that I'm looking at our defense and our injury report, offensive line out, linebackers are dissipated. Then Hines had foot surgery. Justice Haynes, had foot surgery. I don't know. Lot to overcome for sure.
But winning out could be, bro. I mean, anything. Listen, this is college football.
It's just
anything can happen.
I think it's an uphill battle to win out.
Yeah, Sarah,
throw the records out the book, right? I mean, it don't matter.
That's all that matters on Rivalry Saturday.
And it could be it's the end of the year. It could be weird weather. It could be there's a lot of oddities. I think Michigan would rather plow the field up, put natural grass back in, and root for rain and snow.
Facts. But, and I will say this, and I'm going to ask Sarah a question, and we're going to go to the lineup.
You can't grow the AstroTurf out. You know what I mean?
Slow those
guys down.
Can't do that. Down. But B-Dirt, you have seen Michigan traditionally win big games against Ohio State, because right now, if Ohio State has one kryptonite, they have not been successfully able to identify a running back one and run the ball. They run by committee. They got 2. They're led by 2 freshmen. Donaldson's the 3rd running back. Peoples is the 4th running back. So they can throw the ball over the yard, but you get some snow and some wind, that changes everything. So Sarah, do you think that maybe Michigan could do it?
I mean, I'm kind of on the same page as Brandon just because of those injuries. Now, again, every single year, I mean, last year they barely had an offense and they beat us. So truly, you never know. You never, ever know. I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to actually be there this year to watch it. It's going to be amazing, but I'm never surprised when Michigan beats us, because it just seems like that is our straight up kryptonite, and especially Ryan Day's kryptonite.
Well, I feel you. Big Pun says a 3-loss Michigan team with a win over OSU, but a title loss game to IU sneak in. No, what I'm saying, Pun, is they win the regular last 3, go into that title game and take Indiana toe-to-toe, and may possibly walk out of there with a dub. A 2-loss team is getting in. And I'm here to say right now, too, because there's diabolical mess out there. Oh, if Texas splits against Georgia and Texas A&M, they're getting in. Hell no, they ain't getting in no playoff. No 3-loss team is getting in. I'm mark it here right now on the Level Up College Football Podcast. No 3-loss teams getting in. I don't care what nobody say. It's not happening. That's the whole reason why the committee is meeting in December, because they're talking about playoff expansion to go to 16 teams starting in 2026. They meet that first week. So they're not gonna break standard. They're not gonna break rank. All hell would have to break loose, where a lot of those top 10 teams end up with 2 losses in order for a 3-loss team to get in. And I don't see it happening. That's just me, y'all. I might be wrong. I might be biased, but 3-loss team, you're not deserving to get in the playoff. You're not. Dirt, you was gonna say something, bro?
No, I mean, it would a lot would have to fall in line for a 3-loss team to get in my mind.
Yeah.
A lot of dominoes would have to fall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I still, one of the funniest things I think in this whole thing is I get why Notre Dame would be ranked ahead of Miami, even though they both have 2 losses, and Miami beat them head to head because Miami's losses are worse than Notre Dame's losses, right?
Facts.
But I'm shocked that they have double the amount of voter points as Miami does. I'm surprised the gap is as big as it is. You'd think those guys would be a little bit closer to one another, but hey.
Well, I think the issue is that Love is the splash, and Carson Beck is the anti-splash.
Oh, and when you look at the numbers head to head, CJ Carr has far and above outplayed Carson Beck.
Oh God, yeah. It's recency bias though too. Yeah. Like they've been on a winning streak.
CJ Carr's got a top 10 QBR. They lost by what, 1 point to Texas A&M?
Facts.
I mean, 2 to Miami.
Yeah. And Miami was on the road early in the year.
Yeah. Gavin Anthony asked, Big G, so what's the other running back other than those 2 and Bo Jackson? Well, they got another freshman by the name of Isaiah West out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 5'10", 210-pound running back who's had 34 carries for 177 yards and has been at the top the last couple of weeks for Ohio State as far as carries and rushing yards. So they actually have Donaldson, Peoples, Isaiah West, and Bo Jackson. But none of them has really separated themselves from the pack. So that answers your question, Gavin. That's where we're at. If Miami and Notre Dame both finish with 2 losses, which one is out? Miami. Notre Dame going to playoff with 2 losses. If Notre Dame went out, they're in. Pun. I mean, that's sort of elementary.
Miami would win out. They'd win the ACC championship, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Facts.
So then they would be.
They would automatically be in.
Facts. Right. All right. So let's get to the games. This week, I think we got a lot better slate than we had last week. And Sarah, listen, I blew it. I blew it. I think I shot my wad and I blew my lead. I think I had a 2-game lead on you and maybe a 4-game lead on Theresa because I picked too many upsets last week. I shot my wad. What was my 2 upsets I picked?
You picked Iowa.
I picked Iowa or Oregon. I picked LSU.
Big G,
I picked LSU
covered,
over Alabama.
Iowa covered. My DK account knows that.
Yeah, but I don't. Listen, I need straight dubs, bro. I need straight dubs. So if you bet money line, make sure you go check out Pay Dirt over there on the Running Through the Jungle podcast channel. Them boys get big time victories over there, and you might want a little bit of bread fooling around with them. So hey, it is what it is, y'all. I think the first game is the most underrated game that we've covered all season. Right? We haven't talked about either one of these teams. And I think that both of them have a legitimate, not necessarily the second one, but the second one could be the upset special. But the first one's got a legitimate shot to make the college football playoff. Y'all, it's Memphis versus East Carolina University, man. I had to actually sit down on these 2 teams and see was either one of them worth a nickel. And they are. They got NFL talent on both of these teams. But Sarah, I'm going to kick it off with you. ECU versus Memphis. What you got this week on the Level Up College Football Podcast?
Well, yeah. East Carolina, I think they've had 3 losses so far, and it was BYU, NC State, and Tulane. And then Memphis's 2 losses were to Tulane again. Tulane's playing pretty well. They're also in that group of 5 conversation. But Memphis's loss to UAB is the one that I still question because it was the week after UAB fired their coach. They weren't playing well, and somehow pulls off this upset with Memphis. Memphis is the one that I question a little bit more in this, and it's at East Carolina, so they actually are favored 2.5 points. I haven't watched a lot of tape. I've watched a little bit more Memphis just because they show up on a lot more shows and stuff like that than Eastern Carolina. The only thing I know about Eastern Carolina is that my boss went there. So
yeah.
He's got a lot
Pirates. These Carolina Pirates. The Pirates, yeah.
But their offense seems to really be on a nice little roll. They're ranked around right in the middle of, I think 14th is what I saw. But their QB has almost 2,500 yards. He has 14 touchdowns. He does have 5 interceptions. They do have a really nice red zone defense. I think it's going to be an interesting game. And I think it's really going to say who's going to end up coming out of this group of 5 because right now there's so many questions. They're only teams that I can really see that are part of this conversation that look like they're going to probably make it is maybe James Madison and maybe Tulane. But other than that, like, it's such a mess. Everyone has only one loss in the American that's in that conversation. So this is kind of going to, I think, really stem things up together. I like Memphis. They really do play a nice game, but I'm really intrigued to see if Eastern Carolina can kind of pull this off. And it'll just be more entertaining than anything. These are two teams that are just, playing to win a really good game than to play to be at the top of a ranking, because they're not that big of teams.
Facts. And sometimes, and this is what makes college football great. What makes college football great is there's not a power. This is not necessarily power four programs, but it's actually must-watch TV because of what Sarah just said. One of these teams might mess around and make the college football playoff. So this is what makes college football, to me, greater than anything else, because you don't pay attention to necessarily the headline game, but you might see one of these guys when the 12-team playoff is handled. B-Dirt, man, your thoughts on Eastern Carolina versus Memphis, bro?
I'm telling you, if you see one of these two teams in the 12-team playoff, get the belt ready. ain't neither one of these teams ready for that smoke.
Oh, no.
You got to play one of the top 5 teams in the country. They're going to BTA.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree, bro.
I'll take ECU in this one. I just feel like watching Memphis, like Sarah said, they've popped up here and there. I've watched a little bit of their game. They seem to be what I would say is a little sloppy. Yeah. They turnovers, penalty, pre-snap penalty stuff. It just seems a little undisciplined to me. I'll take East Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say East Carolina bad just because East Carolina has always been part of the upset special.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back through their history from a historical standpoint, they put off some big-time upsets. I mean, I'm talking about literally wrecking the party for certain schools. But Memphis is on the cusp of doing something they've never been able to do before. And that's be the representation for the 12th seed for the college football playoffs. So the pressure's on Memphis. But East Carolina 6-3. Sarah ripped off their losses. Man, listen, they could upset special it again. Now, Sarah, me and you don't do our picks till Saturday, get your game day on. But Dirt saying, who you saying one more time, Dirt?
ECU.
You saying East Carolina? ECU?
ECU. Listen, either way, I just want to make sure that you're the one that watches this for us. I don't want to be part of it.
Hey, if it's on ESPN, I probably won't be able to.
I got no interest.
Yeah, YouTube TV trying to give people money back and all, but that's another show.
Sarah, you gotta talk to me. I got a guy.
Okay.
I got a guy.
Yeah, but normally if it's the YouTube TV, I do the split screen. You know how it goes. But that's a whole nother conversation. All right. So to me, the diabolical game of the week. The diabolical game, right? Everybody and their mama is hotty-toddy. The powder blue, Oxford, Mississippi, the hottest team in the country, talking yak about Lane Kiffin. He's ready. He's finally got a team. He's ready to roll. And now here comes the Florida Gators, who, in my opinion, might be the best team with no coach and players. They have lost some games they absolutely should have not lost, right? And some of that's because lack of coach. That's why their coach got fired. But can Florida pull an upset this week to pop Ole Miss and ruin their playoff chances? Because, Lane Kiffin do what he do. So your thoughts this week with Florida and Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin gives egg like the Egg Bowl, B-Dirt. He gives an egg.
Come on.
He does.
Speaking of an egg, Florida walked into Lexington, Kentucky, rolled over on their back and said, "Pet my belly, pet my belly." It's 38-7. They got their ass whooped.
Facts. That's facts.
Florida.
That's facts.
Listen, the guys at Florida are sharpening their pencils, getting those resumes ready. Like, hey, what's the NIL deal if I transfer to your school? They ain't worried about beating Ole Miss. They're going to be talking to Lane Kiffin and say, hey, where are you going next year? Maybe we come play for you. That's what they're going to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I listen. I feel it. But so I tried to call it last week, and I said it was upset Saturday. But we haven't had that yet. There's always an upset Saturday in college football. It happens every freaking year. So, Sarah, could this be part of the upset Saturday? And Lane Kiffin is like, man, I blew it again. Sarah.
I don't know if it's an upset special. I think that Florida knows how to play their bigger opponents a little bit closer to the vest than someone like Kentucky. They're 2 weeks out of not having Napier, but they benched Lagway last week. Like, I just don't see that whole team gelling, and Ole Miss is just on a straight up high. They have a lot of talent. Trinidad's playing great. I love their running back, though. I think Lacey is really pulling off and winning these games for them no matter what. I mean, he's almost at 1,000 yards this season. So
runs hard.
Yes, extremely, extremely hard. I mean, their offense is just going to be putting up way too many points, I think, or at least getting time of possession and just running the ball down Florida's throat. I think Florida's a lost cause right now this season. It's sad. I really, I was high on them too at the beginning of the season with all the other teams that didn't do anything. But I just think that they're kind of on their way out. And Peter's right. They're going to be a lot of them being ready to like, okay, what school wants me now? Because they don't even know who their coach is going to be. And unless they get a big name, they're all leaving.
Yeah, DJ Langway, I think, is the top of that list. So we'll see. And like you said, unless they get a big-time coach. Tim Lyons, I feel your hate. Let the hate in your heart out, because Tim Lyons got a big-time issue with Lane Kiffin, man. Hey, so I feel it, bro. Go ahead, Dirt.
Let me ask you this question. For next year, Big G, you think Lagway would look good at Indiana?
Yeah.
Coach Signetti seems to be getting the most out of his QBs. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I can see DJ Langway at the U. I can see DJ Langway at Indiana. I can see DJ Langway at Oregon next season. I can see it because he's gonna go where the bread's at. He's gonna try to put himself in position to get into the first round of the NFL draft.
And there's going to be coaches out there that think, hey, he was the #1 recruited quarterback. I can fix him. They didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, that's facts.
I love college football coaching egos.
Yeah. But it works sometimes, Dirt. It does. No, I mean, the portal has shown that college football quarterbacks can transfer from one location to another, fix themselves, and get in the first round of the draft. Hell, Jackson Dart is a primary example. Jackson Dart was big trash. Jackson Dart transferred to Ole Miss. Next thing you know, NFL first-round draft pick, the darling of the NFL as far as the rookie quarterbacks are concerned. Yeah, Cam Ward. Cam Ward did the same thing.
I like that comment. She says Sellers would be a better fit at the U than Langway. Might be something there.
Amen. Sellers does need to go back to college, but I don't think he will. Paul said he could see Nico at the U. Nah, he California kid, bro. He said stand put. Nico should have went to USC, but that's just me. That's just my thinking. All right, now, y'all, this is where the slate starts and the games get for real, right? The last 3 games we're going to talk about, I think, are elimination games, all 3 of them. The loser of the game is out of the college football playoff in the last 3 games. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it. First game on the slate is the Oklahoma Sooners, who at one point had the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, right? They had the Tuscaloosa, and Alabama ain't looked that good lately, y'all. So you got Oklahoma against Alabama, an elimination game in the SEC. Dirt, man, what you thinking? Alabama, Oklahoma, elimination game, SEC.
I would say Mateer has not looked the same since hurting his thumb.
Facts.
So, they had a big win against an overrated Tennessee team last week, but he only threw for 150 some yards. I think Simpson's a much better quarterback. I think that they have enough. They have the athletes to stay with them for a while, make me close the first half of the game. But I think this is an Oklahoma team that just doesn't quite get there with the talent that Alabama and the quarterback play. Period. It's unfortunate for Mateer hurting his hand. He was off to a great start, as you alluded to, G. but he's just not been the same since he came back. But stack the box, make him throw the ball to win. He hasn't been able to throw the deep ball since he came back.
That's facts. Came back maybe a little bit too early.
Yep.
But Sarah, Oklahoma got a hell of a defense. I don't care what nobody say. The Sooners still got a top 10 defense in the country. Oklahoma gets after it. And Ty Simpson does not like pressure. It's already been shown he struggles when he plays against a team that gets after him. So can Oklahoma pull this upset and maybe kill Alabama's chances or opportunity to go to the playoff? Your thoughts, Sarah?
I mean, it all kind of rides on how much pressure they can really put on Simpson, because they have not been able to establish a running game at all this season, which is very unlike Bama. And I really just don't know what's going on with that. So if you can really, really get Simpson to mess up, which he hasn't even done yet, so I'd be very surprised if you can, that's truly all it's going to rely on. I mean, Mateer, yes, I totally agree. I think he came back too early. That hand injury was too much. He's still good on his legs. I mean, he only had 150 some yards throwing, but he did put 80 yards on the ground. So the kid can still run. But it's really going to come down to if they can get Simpson to make a couple of mistakes, and he just hasn't had that yet. So I'd be really, really surprised. I think, they're both really get the red zones even. Everything's a little bit more even when it comes to their defense against that offense. So, those 33 sacks, that's going to be the thing. How many times are you going to sack Simpson? How many times are you going to make him lose yardage? And will you pull off this upset? It's in Bama. There's a lot of factors in this. It just doesn't look great for Oklahoma, but it could definitely be an upset. I just don't know if I truly, truly believe that they'll actually pull it off.
Yeah. And when you look at his splits, Simpson splits home versus away.
Yeah.
And he plays better against top 25 teams.
Agreed.
I think everything's fallen in line for him to have a bounce back game after not looking his sharpest last week.
Agreed, man. I think Simpson is still, in my opinion, still in the Heisman Trophy conversation. I really do believe he is, because he's played well enough to put himself in position. If I had to go a top 5 Heisman Trophy, he probably would be in that conversation with Love, Julian Saying, Jeremiah Smith, and Mendoza. If I had to go top 5, I think that would be my top 5. Now, you can pick the order, but Julian Saying, Jeremiah Smith, Love, the running back of Notre Dame, Mendoza, the quarterback in Indiana, and Simpson will be my top 5 for the Heisman. So he's putting himself in position that if he wins out, he's definitely going to get an invite to New York City. And he hasn't had a Heisman moment yet. So maybe the Oklahoma game, they come in with this daunted defense, and he cuts them up, because he's got the skill spots on the outside. Let's don't get it twisted. Alabama has big-time wide receivers out there. So maybe he dices up Oklahoma, and people are like, man, Simpson might be the best quarterback in the country. Who knows? We'll see. Next game, and I'm so glad to talk about this game this week, because I think this is where the buck stops right here. All this diabolical Longhorn talk I got to deal with all the time from Longhorn Nations. Well, guess what? You finally got to play a real ball team. The Bulldogs. Now listen, GK front. I've been saying Georgia's fake. I've been saying they fake. But we're going to F around and find out this week who's the real team between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Texas Longhorns. Sarah C., Texas Longhorns and Georgia Bulldogs this week.
Now, see, this is where I kind of could possibly see an upset in this game. The only thing that I would say is, I believe, is it at Georgia? That would be the biggest thing that I would say. Yeah, the offense is definitely not looking super, like the offense and defense for Georgia, they're winning games, and they're winning games pretty convincingly as it's gone. But I think Texas, for some way, is like, they're on a very slow but upward trajectory, where Georgia's kind of just a little bit, they're still winning, so they're going to be up there, but they're not like doing anything to like blow, anyone out of the water. And Manning definitely has looked a little bit better, and that Texas defense is legit. Like they have some NFL guys on a lot of that defense. So
a whole bunch of NFL dudes. A whole bunch of NFL dudes.
So I think that the only thing that I did look when I was looking at, and I've noticed it a little bit, is that they don't have great man coverage. So if Georgia can really get Stockton to be throwing some bigger balls to those wide receivers, you'll definitely have a little bit of a tough one. But if they can put the pressure on him, again, we got another SEC quarterback that just seems to not make the mistakes like last year both teams had, like Bama did with Milroe and last year with Beck. So both of these the quarterbacks are definitely playing a lot better on these teams. So I just don't know for sure. I did not get to watch the Georgia game. I know they put up a bunch of points and they were able to do it early. So that's definitely going to be something that I think that they'll need to do against Texas, is I think they're going to have to get a decent lead in the beginning. And then Texas is going to be playing catch up. And that's where I think Manning really, really suffers, is that he doesn't know how to play from behind just yet. That's why I think he has to do another year. So I would definitely like to see how they can pull it off. But I just think Georgia, they're not making the mistakes like they used to. They're not being penalized. They haven't allowed 100 yards of rushing. Like, there's just a lot of things that they are doing that no one's talking about because they're not the flashy Georgia and they don't have the big names like they normally do every other year.
Yeah, facts. Dirt. We had to deal with the diabolical Texas stuff all day and night, Dirt. You know, we've been dealing with it for years. But can they pull it off? Because, listen, as much as I can't stand them, they got hella defense. Texas got hella defense. Hella defense, Dirt.
I will say this. A message to the pro scouts that are going to be going to this game. You don't have to look more than 6 yards away from the line of scrimmage. Outside of that, there ain't a whole lot to see in this game. I think the trenches, the linebackers, you're going to see good play there. Outside of that, it's kind of ho-hum to me. I think you could spend your energy somewhere else a little bit better. But, yeah, neither one of these quarterbacks I feel have played to where we thought they would play. So I give the advantage here to the fact that you're between the hedges at a night game. I think that's it. And I would also say that I would probably give a coaching nod to Kirby Smart over Sark. And I don't think it helps you hear little Sark sprinklings about the NFL out there. I don't think that helps. I don't think it helps when he's trying to get his team to follow his lead and bounce back here. Just throw that out there.
So, George, you taking Georgia to beat Texas?
In a close one, yes. I like to keep it close.
Yeah. Sarah, like I said, we don't normally do our picks on this week. Make sure you check out the podcast on Saturday. Get your game day on. But I'm going to give you a little nod or a little hint. Of course, naturally in football, whatever quarterback plays better wins. But I think this game has got written all over it which quarterback makes the big mistake. Because I think Stockton can make a big mistake, and I think Arch can make a big mistake. And whatever quarterback ducks the big mistake, is team's probably going to win. I really do believe that because they're close. And Texas is filled up. When I mean defensively, filled up with NFL talent, you better believe they got it. So, and they can cause Stockton a lot of problems, man. A lot of problems.
Well, here's the other thing. Stockton likes to put his head down and try to run people over. If he does that to the front seven of Texas, we're going to find out who the backup is.
Well, that's what we saw in the SEC championship game. Remember, Carson Beck got knocked out of the game. They brought Stockton in, and Stockton thought he was going to run up the middle against Texas, and that boy was in next year. That boy was in the 2026 season. I mean, the 2025 season last year in 2024. He was in this season right now, man. He got popped. So Dirt, you're right. It's big facts. It's big old facts, man. You know, but I'm just telling you, and this could be where Manning turns the corner. Because Sarah, you're right. Georgia sort of leveled out. Texas has been going like this.
I mean, this
slowly but surely.
Game of the week, G.
It could be, but I got another one. It's the game of the week because ain't nobody giving them no credit. Ain't nobody giving the last game of the slate no credit. But I'm telling you, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one, man. So, last game of the week. You know, my two co-hosts, they over in the city that we going to talk about. They got a hell of a freshman quarterback, man. Let me tell y'all something. Pittsburgh has got a real deal freshman quarterback that can play football. And here come the Irish. Now, the Irish beat the living hell out of Navy.
Yeah.
They absolutely destroyed them, Sarah. I'm so sorry.
I knew it was coming. I just was hoping to keep it close.
I'm so sorry. You know, and you know, just for that, I got to make sure I give them the BTA moment of the week.
Boy, your mama told me you was disrespecting her, okay? So pick one. Either way it go, this ends with you getting a whooping.
Yeah. Mr. Love had his Heisman Trophy moment. I told these guys backstage that his big time Heisman Trophy moment was that run that he had where everybody and their mom thought he was down, and he got up and ran like 65 yards up the sideline. Big time run. Love's the real deal. But here, Pitt can ruin that. And matter of fact, let me tell y'all something. Pitt can still play in the ACC championship game. They got a lot on the line, man. And I think they're the sneakily good team that a lot of people ain't talking about. So the game of the week this week for the Level Up College Football Podcast is Pitt versus Notre Dame. Dirt, what you got Pitt versus Notre Dame, bro?
Man, it's been a good story. Pitt started off a little bit struggling. They got beat by West Virginia in the backyard brawl, and then they started the freshman quarterback and have turned it around. He has been playing very well. I will give you that. The one thing where I think Pitt's been very susceptible is in their pass defense, and I expect this to be a CJ Carr game. Here's the 10th ranked QBR in the nation this year. Started off with the handcuffs on him the first couple of weeks, and now they've kind of released him to throw the ball around the yard a little bit more. This is not going to be one of those games where Pitt throws for 400 yards. Notre Dame just won't allow that to happen. I mean, with the background for Freeman being a defensive back, I feel like he'll have that under wraps. I think Notre Dame wins this one. I'm not going to say it's 52-13 like my colleague here from Running Through the Jungle, but I will say that I think Notre Dame wins fairly handily.
Tim Lyons, let me tell you something. If Notre Dame beats Pitt 52-13, I'll move out the way and let you host the show next week. I'll sit right next to you, and I'll let you host the show. It ain't going to be that much of a selacking. Now, do I think Notre Dame might win? Well, you got to check out the show. But 52-13, stop that. That's diabolical. Sarah, your thoughts this week with the preview game of the week, Notre Dame versus Pitt.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a really good test for this true freshman quarterback. This is really going to be the biggest game that he's ever played in. It's being played at home. It'll probably be the first time he'll ever see actually full, because there will be actual fans, especially because as many Pitt fans you think we might have, we have a ton of Irish fans in Pittsburgh. It's a huge fan base here, just because, we have a lot of Irish that actually live here. I think that it's going to be entertaining. I think that they can probably put up some points. I agree with Peter, though. I just don't see them putting up as many points as they would like to. They have been. And Notre Dame is they're playing well on all cylinders on that offense. And they're just playing really, really well. They are a legit team. Now we see why they are being ranked in losing 3 points in their 2 losses. I mean, it's definitely, they've never been as bad as I think that we all thought, because they had the 2 losses. I mean, the Miami loss definitely doesn't look super, super great as it did in the beginning, but I still think that it's still, it was so close. But yeah, this Carr kid is looking great. He has 2 really great running backs. The only thing that I saw with Pitt's defense is they do have a really good rushing defense. So if they can actually stop those guys, it's going to rely a lot on Carr. But that kid has just a ton of confidence in him. And they've really, really let him show how good he can be. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I think that it's quite interesting to see this kid play this year. I didn't know what he was going to look like, because they didn't really show it at the beginning. And they're really, really showing that he knows what he's doing, and he can really take over a game. So I think it's going to be, like I said, I think it's going to be entertaining. I don't know if it's going to be 10.5 points. I don't want it to be. If I was about 20 years younger, I'd probably actually try to go, but I don't want to deal with any of that anymore.
Yeah.
That's too much craziness for me anymore. But I think it's a good story. I think it's going to be really great. If Pitt can win their next 2 games after this, that'll mean something, and they could end up being in the conversation because the ACC is such a whirlwind right now. You don't know who's up and down anymore other than possibly Georgia Tech. So, I wish like I said, I'm wearing the blue. It's great, but I just don't know if I could actually see Notre Dame pulling this off. Pitt pulling this off. I think Notre Dame just is there. They need to make the playoffs. They are on that path, and they're not stopping.
That I understand it. Now, Big Pun brings up a good point. Marcel lit Notre Dame up through the air. Marcus Freeman was clueless on how to stop it. Now, B-Dirt, I'm gonna mess up the quarterback's name. I tear names up, so I don't want to say the kid's last name. Maybe you can help me with the pronunciation.
Heinschel, I think is Heinschel.
It's Heinschel? Yeah. The kid can throw the ball over the freaking yard. He's got 1,547 yards passing, and he didn't start the first 2 freaking games. The kid can throw the ball all over the yard. And they got some receivers. So that's all. Sarah, I might be wrong. But I think that they're going to give Notre Dame a game, man. They're going to give them a game.
The line on this game is 11.5. It's a little bit too big. Yeah, it's a little bit too big for me to like Notre Dame, but I like the over though. 54.
Yeah, I can say. Hell, yeah,
it'll be a fun game to watch. There's going to be points scored. Period.
Yeah, easily, and it's Pitt, and y'all know how Pitt get down in Pitt. Strange things happen over there in Acrisure Stadium for the Pitt. Not for the Steelers, but for them damn Panthers. Strange things happen over there for sure in Acrisure.
There's supposed to be a ton of alumni, so maybe they'll bring them some really good luck because they're saying every Pitt alumni that's gone to the NFL is showing up to this thing. So it'll be interesting.
Ooh, big time game for them.
I know for work, I bought four tickets for some Notre Dame fans, so I'm doing my part to get to in there.
Oh yeah. That stadium's going to be rocking.
That
stadium's going to be rocking, man.
It'll be 50-50 for sure, if not 60-40 Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Big time game in Acrisure Stadium between the Pittsburgh Panthers and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. All right, y'all, we've reached the end of the show. I'm going to ask the final thoughts. I'm going to start out with my boy B-Dirt. Final thoughts, B-Dirt, and where can people find you at? On YouTube or wherever else you're out there doing in the podcast land, bro.
Yeah, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. We got the Running Through the Jungle crew doing some Bengals stuff. We've got Pay Dirt, and we got the homies every Friday night. Pay Dirt on Wednesday normally, sometimes Thursday. You never know. It'll be before that Thursday night game, though, because we like to bet that one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, things are going – we're doing pretty good. It seems that, we're above 500 for Pay Dirt for the year, but our locks, our heavy bets, our big favorites, have been really nice. Good stuff.
Love it.
Oh yeah,
Loving
big pun, by the way. Good shout out to this should be messy turf. At Pittsburgh. Yep, that's a staple of Acrisure. They could change the name, but they can't get the turf right.
Yeah, it ain't been right since Three Rivers, and hell, that was as hard as a brick.
Concrete. It was painted green concrete.
Facts, total facts. Sarah, my co-host, give your parting shots, and do you got a sneaky game this week? Or what you thinking that could, man, you need to pay attention to this game. This game might be sneaky.
It's the 2 teams that I kind of talked about earlier. I think that the Iowa USC game is going to be entertaining. I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but if Iowa can play like they did against Oregon's offense, it'll be quite interesting against USC. I think that's going to be the sneaky game. They're tough. They've been playing really, really tough. They just don't have the offense right now, which is just the one thing that they just can't seem to gather together to get them in the real conversation. I'm excited for Pittsburgh to get highlighted this weekend. I think that's great. I wish I was a lot of years younger and I would be a part of it. I used to do Pitt tailgates just to go to the tailgates. I was from Duquesne. So, but I never went to the games. They weren't super, they were popular, but they weren't great. So I'm just excited for it. I'm excited for this weekend. I think there's definitely a couple good games, and I'm definitely going to be hitting up B-Dirt on that connection, because a lot of these games will not be on my television unless they decide to sign a deal.
God.
The diabolical YouTube TV has struck again. So they haven't reached the deal. Sarah, I tried to tell a certain somebody.
I know.
Ahmad, I told you that they wouldn't have a deal reached, and we're going now into week 2. There ain't no deal that's going to be reached no time soon. This is the Sarah. We talked about it off stage, and maybe that's going to be some of the content they'll get moving forward about how this TV deal works between YouTube TV and ESPN and the SEC and all whatever else. So, that might be something you see moving forward with some of our pre-recorded content, bro.
Gee, I got a question. I got a question for you about one game. Big Pun, this is the moment of the show where you could step out, because I know you don't like the Big Ten, but we're going to talk about it. And I got a question. Who do you like in the Something's Got to Give Bowl? Both these teams can't lose this week. Penn State goes to Michigan State in East Lansing. Who do you think's going to win that game? Because nobody wants to.
I think that the freshman quarterback for Penn State is not as bad as what people think.
Okay.
And I think that the kid's going to continue to get experience. And I don't think that Michigan State has any horses outside of Childs, the quarterback. So I think that Penn State gets off the snot. I got to pick Penn State to get off the snot.
So and snap the losing streak after 6.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this too, and I mean this. To me, LSU, Florida, Penn State, I think people say LSU's the best job, but the money that they're going to put behind the new coach at Penn State, look out, because they're going to make a big-time hire. And look out. Penn State's not right till they get it right. And that meant getting rid of James Franklin, who just couldn't beat Michigan and couldn't beat Ohio State. They're tired of it. They can't deal with it anymore.
Yeah, the only downside really to that Penn State job is getting there and getting out. There's no good way to travel into Penn State.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah, Happy Valley is out in the middle of no freaking where.
Yeah.
It's out in the middle of nowhere.
You got to go cow tipping to have some fun.
Facts. But with that whiteout still, I'm telling you, watch what I say. Within 2 years, Penn State's going to be all the way back. All the way back, because they're going to drop so many millions of dollars to make sure that program stays flagship. Mm-hmm. So you might kick them while they're down, but when they get up, it's going to be trouble.
Oh yeah, they're ready for hockey season this year. They got the number 1 guy there, so they're still looking good in some ways.
Absolutely, Sarah.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
Wrestling,
whatever them sidebar sports are, you know I go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for rocking with us. Make sure you like and subscribe. Like and subscribe to the podcast. If you have not already, we appreciate it, y'all. We are still growing as a channel. We're picking up subscribers left and right. Our super chats will be back sometime this week once we finalize what we need to finalize. And we're going to, like I said, moving forward, look for some of the custom content that we're going to have, including possibly getting a web page started. We're working on it right now. And here in a hot second, you're going to be able to catch us live on Facebook too. So we'll be live on Facebook and live on YouTube moving forward. We're already live on X. So now we'll have all these different streams going where you can catch the show live every week, man. We appreciate all you guys rocking with us. As for your boy, Big G, my co-hosts, B-Dirt and Sarah C, and Theresa-B, make sure you guys check us out on the Get Your Game Day On show that'll be on Saturday. It's a pre-record, but G's in the comments. Sarah might mess around and be in the comments talking yet. We had a lot of interaction this last Saturday for people that was in this, because they literally thought the show was live, but it was a great show, and that's where me and Sarah and Teresa's going to give all of our picks for the week. Thank you guys again for rocking with us. We appreciate all y'all, and we'll see you Saturday when you get your game day on the Level Up College Football Podcast. Peace.